Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the last week of March 27th through the 31st, where we'll talk about our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll talk about individual stocks that we're putting on our top swing trading stocks to watch in our bullpen. We'll also talk about our option strategies and our strategies relative to dividend payers, and also additional trade ideas and strategies for making money trading during this last trading week of March 27th through March 31st. So we'll get started. So here's our notes, our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. This Google document with our notes for our weekly trading game plan is publicly accessible. You can find a link in the description box below. We store all of our Google documents with our notes for our weekly trading game plans in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder so that you can refer back to them. And you can find a link to that Google Drive folder also in the description box below. So again, you can refer back to these notes as well as notes from previous weeks' weekly trading game plans. Our notes contain links to bonus videos, links to all the tools that we use, etc. Welcome Clifford Mantley, the Ricky Khan. Thank you for joining us in the live chat today. Hope you're doing well. If you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan, we would highly recommend that you view that. It's titled Impacts from the Latest Fed Interest Rate Hike. Again, you can get that link in the Google document, also on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel, etc. And we talked about impacts, trading ideas, trading strategies to survive and make money from the impacts from the latest Fed interest rate hike, as well as the ongoing bank collapse. So again, we'd highly recommend that you also view part 1. So we'll jump into some of the trades that we made this week, and we'll quickly review those. The first one was late in the week. We sold a cash secured put against Disney at the 85 strike price, the April 21st expiration date. We sold it at about a dollar. Disney was declining with the markets during on Friday, and so we took that opportunity again. We'll talk about our strategy relative to selling puts and how we are generating our own dividends in that way, additional income streams that way. We'll again attempt to buy that back cheaper. If Disney goes up, we'll try to buy that put back cheaper, and again generating our own kind of self-generated dividend, and then rinse and repeat. And again, we'll talk about our overall strategy relative to options later in the video. We had sold and we bought back a put on Micron at the $50 strike price, April 21st. So we had sold it March 2nd at $155. So we got a net profit of about 37 cents per or $117 per options contract. So again, this is all part of our option strategy for selling puts when something that we like is going down, buying them back when it's going up, keeping the difference in premium, rinse and repeat. So again, we'll talk about other opportunities we might have for this option strategy later in the video. OPP, this is the fixed income bond fund that we had a large position in. We got stopped out of that. We'll see when it rolled over a little bit. We had entered at 861. We got stopped out at 862. So pretty much break even on the price appreciation, but we had already collected 1 month's worth of their 10 cents a share monthly dividend. And we'll be looking at doing the same thing again if OPP continues to decline and gets attractive again. We can buy it back prior to the next dividend date, collect the premium. If it gives a price appreciation, great. Otherwise, we'll just rinse and repeat and collect their dividends. SOXS, I want to talk about semiconductors in a little more detail. We got stopped out of our latest position in SOXS. We'd entered on 317 at 842, got stopped out at 1843 on the 20th, pretty much break even. Again, I want to talk about the volatility in SOXS and also trading SOXS and SOXL and our approach to that as well. UROY, we're going to talk a lot about uranium stocks today. and we had a position in UROI. We had entered on the 15th at 209. We got stopped out on the 22nd at 215 for a small profit, about 3%. So a monthly profit about 12%. And as you'll see, we're going to try that one again and just continue to scalp UROI as long as it continues to bounce up and down. Welcome, Easy Mike, MD. Thank you for joining us. Glad you all joined us. Hope you're doing well. So let's quickly look at those trades. So we'll look at Disney. So here's my watch list of the trades from this week. I'll zoom in a little bit. Again, we see Disney was in decline on Friday. So again, we're looking to sell cash. So we've sold the cash secured put at 85. So, significantly lower than where it is right now. And again, we'll just, try to buy that back cheaper if Disney appreciates. If we end up with Disney at 85, we're happy with that price. Micron, again, we had sold the put down at 50. Micron has been, climbing, so we were able to buy that back much cheaper. So again, if Micron declines again, we'll see if that's an opportunity. Here's OPP. I want to zoom in a little bit. So we had bought OPP previously in early March at around 861. You can see it had declined. We collected the last dividend. Once it came up, I saw this large bar on, I guess it was, I think Thursday, and saw that as, kind of an irrational reaction. So it was now profitable. And so I put my stop in, at a pretty much break-even level. You can see it rolled over, hit our stop, and you can see how choppy OPP is. It's low liquidity. If OPP comes back down to this 820 area, that's kind of where we'd like it, or even cheaper down in the low 8s would be ideal. You can see it pays a dividend approximately in the middle of each month, so we would expect the next dividend will probably be around, it's probably 315. And then the next one will be probably, in the middle of April. So we'll try to get in prior to that next dividend date. You can see it pays a nice 10 cent per share dividend. So we like that. Again, it's a fixed income bond fund. Welcome, Doug M. Glad to have you join us as well. Tax season, yep. I thought about, and you guys can let me know if you'd like a video or a discussion in our weekly trading game plans about, taxes and trading accounts and things like that. So again, let me know in the comments if we should make a theme of maybe next week or the week after relative to trading and taxes, or if you'd like a separate video about those types of topics. We can look into doing something like that. SOXS, again, it's been very volatile. You can see it's been chopping up and down. I wanted to share some observations on SOXS and also SOXL. So I want to add SOXL here just so that we can see it. So you can see in Webull, you can easily search for a stock and then add it to a watch list, any of your watch lists. So I want to add SOXL here. I watch SOXL for entry points in SOXS. So I'm looking for a peak in SOXL, which is the long in semiconductors, to determine when to enter SOXL or SOXS. And if we zoom this out, we'll see there's a heavy resistance in SOXL at around 1840. So I'm kind of looking for SOXL to hit that 1840 area to determine where to enter SOXS, because since SOXS is a leveraged ETF, it's going to continue to decline, deteriorate, and so it's hard to determine the bottom in SOXS just based on its price action alone. So again, I'm watching SOXL for it to hit that resistance at around 1840, and that would then give me my entry into SOXS. Another thing I've been observing in both of these, SOXS and SOXL, is you see how they've been going between their support and resistance levels on pretty much a daily basis. You see how it's kind of range bound between like one pivot point above and one pivot point below. If we look at SOXS, we're going to see about the same thing. So I've been seeing, it'll go down to the lower pivot point, then it'll bounce up to the upper pivot point, and that pretty much is determining the range for the day. It hasn't really trended. Neither one of them has really trended in either direction. So it hasn't been a great long-term swing lately, but if you're doing shorter-term swing trades, scalp trades, day trades, SOXS and SOXL, as you can see, the range on a daily basis is, $1, $1.50. Maybe, here we got 17.50 to 19 almost or so. So $1.50, $2 on a daily basis, not too bad. So again, I know I haven't seen Walter Lyons show up today, but I know he's also watching the underlying index and has real good insights on the underlying semiconductor index and has been making some money trading SOXS and SOXL. So we're going to continue. I like SOXS. Again, when SOXL hits that 1840 resistance, I would expect, unless it really breaks out, I would expect that to be pretty heavy resistance. And then we'll play the bounce down, and then we'll see what kind of trend we get from there. UROY. So again, we had traded it in the 209, 210 area. You can see when it rolled over, we got stopped out. So you can see it kind of bounced off, and then rolled over. Now we're looking for it down at this 193 area. So we'll see if it comes down just a little bit. It may have already established a new bottom in the low twos, so we might swing it up from there. You can see we like UROI. It's got some decent price appreciation. It just it made that little run, rolled over, so maybe we'll get a double bottom and then it'll trend back up. Again, we're going to talk about a number of uranium stocks. I like that thesis. We also talked in part one, past couple weeks, about how we've been seeing sector rotation in and out of uranium. So, we get in on the day they're rotating out and then, ride it up when they're rotating in. And then when the rotation ends, and we can stop out and scalp and take the profit. So we hope that all helps. So that's our actual trades for the past week. If you would like to get real-time trade alerts when we enter or exit any of these positions, if you join our Patreon, you can find the link to our Patreon in the description box below. Also, I'll throw it up in the banner. Any level of our Patreon, as soon as we enter or exit a trade, I try to post that to our Patreons. They get email notifications of those trade alerts as soon as possible. And then also we post them in a couple channels in our BeachBum Trading Discord server that our Patreon members, any level of our Patreon members, have access to these alert channels. So we'll see we have a couple alerts channels. One is Thinkorswim TOS price alerts. So those get automatically triggered from Thinkorswim and then posted to this channel in our Discord. Let me zoom in a little bit on our Discord. So again, a couple different ways you can get alerted of various price target alerts in our Discord. And then if we follow that up with a trade, I would post that in the Thinkorswim channel. And if we, here's a stop when we got stopped out in UROI, there's the update there. If I'm taking a position not based on a Thinkorswim trade alert, as you can see when we enter the Disney, then I post that in the trade alerts channel. So again, if you would find that helpful, you can join any level of our Patreon. Again, I don't recommend that you follow us blindly into any trade or anyone else for that purpose, but if you would find it helpful in succeeding in your trading career by seeing our entry points and exit points in our trades, you can join our Patreon and get that information. So let me grab a drink a second and we'll look at our watch list, our real-time watch list updates for this week. Let me check the comments a sec too. Welcome, Flip of the Shippa. Glad to see you here as well. Thank you for joining us. Easy Mike said he's preparing for the JEPI, JEPI, and JEPQ dividend this week. Yeah, we'll look at our dividend payers and we'll talk about our strategy relative to dividend payers in a little bit as well. So on our real-time watch list, our main watch list for this week, we still got Disney. Again, if Disney declines to about 85, I'd be happy buying, or even below 90. I might actually just buy the shares of Disney. So we're watching that. Again, we talked about uranium stocks, and again, we'll talk more detail about some of these, but one of the uranium stocks that we've been watching that we like is DNN. You can see there's Canadian uranium stock that we profitably swung many times over the years. Grow, we've talked about. They're an investment company. They invest in cryptocurrency as well as gold, silver, etc. We've been watching them. Pays a small dividend. METC, we've had on our watch list for a little while. This is a play on coal. So when we see that sector rotation in and out of coal, the one we kind of like to take advantage of that opportunity would be METC. It does pay us a quarterly dividend. PALL, we've been talking about palladium, and we talked about yesterday how it seems to be declining again. We haven't taken a position in PALL yet. And then we just talked about SOXS and SOXL and how I'm really watching that resistance point at 1840 to determine the entry into SOXS. So, and again, there's a daily opportunity, day trade, scalp, etc. with semiconductors right now. Another uranium one that we just talked about, we were looking to get back in, is UROY, another Canadian uranium. Let me talk about volatility a little bit. Is now that we're out of the Fed FOMC interest rate hike time frame, and we don't have any real defined catalysts scheduled, I'm going to take both SPXY and UVXY out of our watch list. They will still be in our ETF database. I do still have a large buy sitting at 4507 on SPXY. SPXY is the short on the VIX. Again, one of my favorite trades, just in case we get a pop. So we do have this volatility due to the global banking collapses. So if it happened to trigger a pop in the VIX, I would catch that with SPXY. But as we saw yesterday, otherwise the VIX is kind of range bound in the mid 20s, and we don't have any catalysts that would cause this. And so UVXY, as we'll see, is kind of sitting in the middle. Both of them are kind of sitting in the middle of their range. And again, daily opportunities. If you're a day trader, scalper, trading volatility with UVXY long, SPXY shorts, a daily opportunity to make money, if that's your trading style. So we'll jump over and we'll look at those in the charts in Webull in a second. Just another reminder, if I make intra-week or even intra-day updates to our watch list, for one, our Patreon members, all levels of our Patreons have access to an automated generated web page that has price targets, whether it's optionable, has ex-dividend dates, etc. And that gets automatically regenerated every day. So again, our Patreon members have access to that. And then if I make any changes intraday, something comes up, I would post that in a stocks watchlist channel in our Discord. So as you can see, when we added METC, I posted that with the price targets in the stocks watchlist channel in our Discord that our Patreon members have access to. So again, if you'd like to get more frequent updates and also price targets for our watch list items, it has both the main watch list and the bullpen, etc., and price targets in the automatically generated web page. So we'll jump over to our watch list, quickly spin through those. We've already looked at Disney. You can see it's sitting quite a bit above that 85 price target. Again, we'll look at options, selling options and or buying shares. DNN, We really like DNN down around this 91 area, but anything around $1 is pretty good. It's got upside into the 140s, 150s, so 50% potential reward. So we like that. As you can see, it's forming a pretty good bottom around that 90. It did dip down the other day to about 92. I have an order sitting, I think, at 91 or 92 right now. Grow, you can see the recent bottom around 241. It's got some pivot point in the low 250s, so it's been a little volatile with the cryptocurrency. But we'll see if it double bottoms and then swings back up. Cryptocurrency is not their only investment. They also have gold. Here's coal, METC. So you can see we like it ideally down around 802. You see potential upside, into the 11s. Palladium, you can see it's been pretty choppy. The recent bottoms around 125.60 or so. We'll see if what it's doing. It may be oscillating into a new steady state. And again, it's been kind of choppy. We talked about SOXS and SOXL. UROY, we talked about that. So again, we'd like it back down around 193 or so. Okay, so now let's talk about our bullpen stocks. And the concept of our bullpen stocks are ones I don't watch real time. I don't have my automated systems watching them real time. I revisit them at the end of the day. We add them to our bullpen if it looks like they might in the near future have an attractive setup. And again, I just revisit them at the end of the day. If they have an attractive setup, then I put them in the bullpen. Or if they are more attractive, I move them up to our real-time watch list. If they break down or run away, then we just take them out of the bullpen. I want to address UEC as in a little more detail, as we got a question under our best uranium stocks to buy from John Price asking about UAC. So I responded that I would cover UAC. As you'll see, we had it in our bullpen, and then we're taking it out, and I'll go over some of the reasons why. But again, Tony Price asked under our best uranium stock to buy video what we think of UAC. So again, I promised I was going to cover that anyway in our bullpen section for today's weekly trading game plan. So let's talk about UAC. You'll see we had added this to the bullpen on the 20th. And yesterday I was looking at UAC. It had a major breakdown. It broke down through support, as we'll see in Webull. And so I wanted to investigate what the cause of that major breakdown was. And what I found out was there was a short attack from Kerrisdale Capital on UROY that they were in. You can get the link to this article that talks about this short report, etc., and the reasons for it in this link in our Google document for our weekly trading game plan notes. And essentially, they were questioning whether UEC was actually even producing their own uranium or just reselling stockpiles that they'd bought from someone else. And bottom line is, we have other options, other opportunities, as you'll see, to play uranium. I just see no reason to play with something that's a battlefield or highly volatile like UEC. So when I saw that and I saw the major breakdown, so I want to look at the chart of UEC right now. So as you can see, we took it out of our bullpen, but I want to look at that in more detail. So I'll zoom in. So we see this, major breakdown of UEC. It did rebound a little bit on Friday, but again, it just fell off a cliff on Thursday, and that was my question: is what happened, why? And the reason was apparently this short report followed by a short attack by Kerrisdale Capital. So again, I'm not gonna battle with that. We have other better, more attractive opportunities to play uranium. So I have no reason to stick with UEC. We can watch it and see what happens with this short report, the short attack, and then we can reconsider looking at UAC. So in response to John Price's question about what do I think about UEC is, right now we're going to take it out of the bullpen. We're not going to consider it right now. We'll wait and see what happens with this short report, short attack. Are those allegations founded, unfounded, etc.? And we can always consider UEC again in the future. And again, the main point is we have other more attractive alternatives to trade uranium right now. We've got DNN and UROY on our watch list already, and as you can see, we've got UUUU in our bullpen. So we've had UUUU in our bullpen for a little while, and we can look at the chart for that. And you could see, both DNN and UROI didn't exhibit that dump in price. So it was obviously something specific to UEC and not something with the uranium industry in general. So you can see I'd kind of like UUUU down a little bit farther. It's declining. It's approaching that previous support around 470 or so. So we'll wait for UUUU to bottom. It'll give us a better risk reward profile if we just wait. So I'll look at it, end of the day, and if it does become more attractive, we'll put it in the game, move it up to our primary watch list. So again, I hope that helps and answers your question, John Price, on what we think on UAC. So let me grab a drink. We'll talk about ETFs. I've got a couple areas I'd like to talk about. I'll bring up our ETF spreadsheet. Okay, if anyone has any other topics, I know Easy Mike had mentioned a couple real estate ones, REM and REZ, so we'll take a look at those. Actually, I'll jump down to that question in a second as well. Also, yesterday we were talking about agriculture and agricultural products. One area that I know Easy Mike and Money Mitch and others have been talking about is potash. And there's some relationship between potash and natural gas, also with the Ukraine-Russia stuff. I couldn't find any potash-specific ETFs, but I've got a couple stocks, and I put those in the ETF spreadsheet. So I want to look at those. Yesterday we talked about wheat. We looked at the wheat futures and how they'd popped up on this recent news with the Ukraine's harvest. So again, I want to start looking at, talking about, and looking for opportunities relative to agricultural inputs, commodities, etc. So again, yesterday, Easy Mike mentioned REM and REZ, which are both real estate related ETFs. So I checked, our spreadsheets, our Google Sheets relative to those. I already had REM in our database. It was already in our Google Sheet for dividend payers. So I added it to under real estate in our ETF spreadsheet. As you'll see, there seems to be an issue with the Google Finance functions relative to REM, and I'll point that out, that the prices it's returning don't seem to correspond with what's in FinViz, etc. And then REZ we already had in our ETF Google Sheet under real estate and in our database and in our dividend payers. So we already had them, Easy Mike. The only addition was adding it to our ETF Google Sheet, and we'll see that. So before I jump over there, just a reminder that our All Access and VIP Patreons have 24/7 access to this Google Sheet and the other Google Sheets under our all access Patreon's Google Drive. So if you'd like to have access to the ETF comparison Google Sheet, also our dividends payers and our puts ROIC Google Sheets, you can get that by joining our all access or VIP Patreons, which is level 2 or 3 in our Patreon. So we can see some of the ones we talked about, AI ones. I've been keeping an eye on that UBOT a little bit. It's still, kind of high relative to support, but it's interesting. Yesterday we talked about biotech, and even though biotech's pretty low, I don't particularly like the sector. Again, opportunities for day trading, scalping, Lab D, Lab U up, Lab D down, but not one that I'm probably going to swing trade. China, yin and yang. So yang is short, yin is long. We're currently still long. Yen, I still think the long-term trend is up. But again, day trading, scalping, you can play yin and yang. We'll look at real estate. Those ones we talked last week, playing the financial sector. If you really want to attempt the volatility in the financial sector, the only way I would even remotely touch those, and I'm not going to touch them, but remotely even consider trading the banking sector right now would be with FAS, which is long, FAZ short. Just, again, not financial advice. I'll put our disclaimer banner up. This is only education and hopefully some level of entertainment purposes only. But if you feel the need, I would not touch individual bank stocks. I would only consider trading the financial sector with FAS and FAZ. Talked about opportunities in gold, and we just released, or we're going to release a video soon about ETFs for trading gold and silver. We talked about this last week, so we like GDXU for long gold, for long sizable position GLDI, more for dividends. Okay, I wanted to talk about potash. So again, these are individual stocks. These are not ETFs. I couldn't find an ETF to trade potash. The one I like is IPI. They appear to be profitable. Intrepid Potash. Again, you can find a link in FinBiz. You can see it's not terribly attractive right now, but maybe around, the 25 level. It's got, pretty nice range. So just kind of keeping an eye on that. Mosaic's very large, very popular company. They do a lot of agricultural chemicals, etc., fertilizers. I think they might even do seeds, etc. But the risk reward isn't nearly as attractive. So I'm showing it here, but it's not in our database. It won't automatically update. And just a reminder for anybody that's new to our ETF spreadsheet is the prices and low highs and 52-week pricing are based on Google Finance functions, so they're updated automatically, but the support and resistance and bottom and top, I pull out of our database at the end of each day and update this spreadsheet with support and resistance, but the ones in yellow are not in our database, so they won't automatically update. I would have to update those manually. So we talked about real estate. Here's REM, as Easy Mike had asked. So this is a real estate capped. This is a REZ is residential and multi-sector. I think I looked at them briefly, and I believe they cover both residential and particularly REM. I think covers both residential and commercial. Again, we can, I won't do it right now. Well, maybe I will. So in our ETF spreadsheet, also you have the link to the ETF database, so you can click on the link and get a detailed definition of what's in any of these ETFs. So here, REZ, residential, healthcare, self-storage. So again, it's kind of a mixture of both residential and commercial. And again, you can just click on the links to any of these in our ETF spreadsheet and get a detail echo. So again, commercial, residential, so they're a mixture. I didn't dig deeper into them. It'd be nice to have an ETF that was, only commercial, only residential, and also some shorts. Right now, DRV is the only short on real estate that I have, and you can see it's significantly high due to declines in real estate. But again, multiple ways that you can trade the real estate sector if you're interested in doing so. Again, right now, none of them are. DRN is the bull. It's showing somewhat positive, but it's still even above its 52-week low. So that says, maybe it's bottomed and already come up a little bit. We talked about potash. We talked about SOX, SOXL, SOXS, so you can track these. Silver, we've talked about. AGQ, I like for long. We have a large position in SLVO. If you want to trade the solar with ETFs, TAN and RAISE are a couple options. They don't really offer a terribly attractive risk reward, but again, if you want to trade that sector rotation in solar that we've talked about, there's some opportunities there. And then treasuries, and we're long TMF. We're selling covered calls against TMF. Yeah, Flippa says has been selling pretty hard. Yep. Yeah, real estate. And again, yesterday we talked about, some potential fallout from this banking crisis on further on commercial real estate. That's why I'd like a segregation between commercial and residential if at all possible. We also talked about the REITs. We looked at how the REITs may be differentiating, and that may be an opportunity. And we talked about volatility, UVXY, SVXY. Again, we can track these, watch them in our ETF spreadsheet. And if UVXY, again, it's going to deteriorate just due to it being a leveraged ETF. So, you want to watch for the spike. If you want to find the bottom in UVXY, you'd have to see, a spike up in SVXY. Yeah, Flippa says residential REITs. Yeah, or actually, and again, we'll talk about, we're in other REITs that are not specific to like the commercial type real estate that the banks would have, and also not mortgage-based residential. I don't like that either right now. So unless someone has another sector or industry you want to look at in the ETFs, again, if you're in our all access or VIP Patreon, you can view this at any time. All these prices will update in near real time. It's not completely real time, about a 20-minute delay based on these Google Finance functions, but you can track opportunities, and the risk reward color codes will update accordingly. So if there's opportunities during the day, they will pop up, and you can see those and take advantage of those. Flippa says consumer staples, XLP. While I'm here, let me also show you, we talked yesterday, one of the ways you can see sector rotation also is in the sector sheet on our ETF spreadsheet. I've got all this various sectors. You see their data. And again, this will update near real time during the day. So, as of Friday, we could see, consumer discretionary and financials were very negative. Everything else ended up positive. And you can sort this by, the percentage if you want. So however you want to see it, to see the sector rotation, it's another way to see that sector rotation and take advantage of it. Morning, Walter. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's jump forward some. Just a quick reminder while I grab a drink. If you're not already using Webull, they're still offering up to 12 free stocks, each worth $3,000 to $3,000. If you open an account, you get 2. If you fund it with any amount, you get an additional 10. So as you can see, we use Webull for the majority of our trading, for our market analysis, our due diligence, etc. So if you're not already using Webull, why not get your 12 free stocks? You can cash them out if you don't want to use the platform, but it's our preferred trading platform. So just a sec. Okay, so let's talk about shopping list stocks just real briefly. I did pare this down a little bit. The concept of our shopping list is, stocks you always wanted to buy, and we're just looking for the right opportunity. When they got, cheap or an irrational reaction to earnings, etc. Just some caveats, I wouldn't touch any of the banks. Don't get trapped in this bank collapse. Again, we've released a couple videos that talk in more detail about, the risks relative to this bank collapse. It is ongoing. There's, talk of potential other regional banks, huge outflow of money. So again, yesterday we talked in more detail about some of the risks, some of the fallout, some of the domino effect. So you can listen to that. Just, don't get trapped, don't get hurt. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. So I wouldn't touch any of the banking stocks right now. Talked about rising interest rates, the effect on zombie stocks, zombie companies, zombie ETFs. We talked about further bankruptcies, etc. So again, I would stay away from unprofitable, particularly zombie companies. I took out the rising interest rate block because in my humble opinion, we're reaching the top of the interest rate hike. So I think that's less of a risk at this point. I think that's been probably baked into most of those stocks. However, now, we're even more concerned about a recession. So that is a higher risk now. Make sure anything in your shopping list, anything in your portfolio is going to be proof against the potential coming recession. Also, I wanted to share with you some news. This is important to anybody who's in any of these Credit Suisse, ETNs, ETFs, etc. We currently hold all 3 of these. They pay nice monthly dividends. They've been very good to us. And I'll let you read this article in more detail, but it talks about, the potential risk of UBS taking over Credit Suisse. What are they going to do with these ETFs, with these ETNs? And I also had seen a comment that if they do divest from those ETNs, there would be plenty of notice. They'd have to notify the SEC, they'd have to put out press releases, and then they'd have to have some kind of wind down plan. So we're going to watch that news. Again, you can read that article in more detail about the fate of these Credit Suisse ETFs, but just be aware of the potential risk, and watch the news. If news comes out that they're going to wind those down, make sure you're not caught with a loss in any of those. And that's going to be our position is, we can exit if news comes out. But ideally, as we talked yesterday, if we get a peak in gold and silver and these become profitable from a price appreciation standpoint, that would be ideal, as we've collected dividends on them for a long period of time. And then if oil goes back up, we can cash those out as well. But in the meantime, collecting their healthy dividends is pretty nice, as we'll see in our dividend payers as well. So now we'll talk about dividend payers. Again, one of our strategies, since the market's been choppy, pretty range bound, hasn't really picked a direction and trended in any direction. While we wait, one of our strategies is to pile into dividend payers. So we constructed this Google Sheet to help you also identify potential dividend payers if you're looking for income stream, looking for dividends, and or just to make money while you wait. To try to find, what types of dividend payers you might want to buy into and when. So again, our all access and VIP Patreons have access to this Google Sheet 24/7. So if you want to access this 24/7, you can join our all access or VIP Patreon level. And if you want us to do research on any additional dividend payers, like Easy Mike was asking about REM and REC, they both do pay a dividend. You can post that in our Patreon or contact us in our Facebook group or via social media. Just let us know if you'd like us to add something to our dividend payers or our ETF spreadsheet or our puts ROIC, etc. You can find links to our Facebook group, our Discord, all our social media on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. So again, just let us know if you'd like us to look at something additional. I took out all the listing of all the videos that we've about the development of our dividend payers, how to use it, etc. But I put the link to all those videos where you can search for them on our channel, so you can see all those previous videos about how to use our dividend payers, etc. And we also, as dividends are changed, we have a channel in our Discord with a feed from dividend hikes. So there's in the investing channel in our Discord, if someone announces that they're increasing their dividend, then that would come out in the investing channel in our Discord. So if there's any specific dividend payers, we'll look at REM, REZ, Easy Mike mentioned. You can see the ones that show up in green are within 10% of support, and they're ones to look at. I've been looking at this auto parts, but it seems to be declining, deteriorating. Big Lots I looked at, but they're losing money, so I don't like that. Same thing, I've got some issues with CVS. FCAP is a regional bank, wouldn't touch that. You can see GLDI is attractive. You can see it's paying, 89 cents a share. It's got decent potential price appreciation. Here's Grow. It's on our watch list. You see it only pays a monthly dividend, but it's got decent price appreciation. IBM's interesting, but it's significantly above support. Easy Mike mentioned JEPI, JEPQ, so you can see what they pay. They pay monthly dividend. Land, we have a significant position in. Again, this is a REIT on farmland. That C, that's the coal, pays the dividend. We have a sizable position, MPW. This is another REIT on hospitals. We've already got that dividend, so again, that's one that if we get the price appreciation, we would probably exit that, or at least get a stop in since it only pays quarterly. I like O, but O does have some commercial real estate. I would want to dig in, but that's been very good to us. I'd like it down at 55. It's been declining with the decline in real estate. OPP we talked about. It's a bond fund. Here's REM and REZ that Easy Mike talked about, so you can see what their dividend payment is, also the potential, price appreciation. So you see their adjusted yields. So if you find those attractive for dividend payers, you might consider those. We also own Stag. Stag is an industrial REIT, warehouses, distribution centers. So again, a different type of commercial real estate REIT, and hopefully we'll see some price or some differentiation between those REITs. See USOI, this is the Credit Suisse ETN on oil, pays a very nice dividend. But again, we're going to watch that risk with the Credit Suisse. So again, you can peruse this. Again, this gets updated with the Google Finance functions, and then also the ones in gray are pulled from our database on a nightly basis. So I'm calculating the frequency and updating that, and then we're calculating the adjusted yield based off the price appreciation. So again, you can use this spreadsheet to derive a dividend payer strategy that fits your income needs, your trading style, etc. And we hope that this all helps. Welcome, Johnny Trades. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. So let me also quickly talk through our options strategy. I left the criteria in here just for your references. Here's our criteria for our puts, selling puts and buying back puts option strategy, just so you can review. But I took out the evolution of this strategy. You can access the videos that we've released on the evolution of our puts ROIC spreadsheet, our strategy, etc. Via this link to the search in our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. So you can see all of those videos as they're released. Also, our other videos on how to trade options, how to do covered calls in various platforms in our options playlist. So I took those individual videos out. We already talked that you can always request if you'd like us to look at a particular, stock expiration, expiry date, and add that to the spreadsheet. Just request that through our Discord or any of our social media, or even the comments below. And again, our All Access and VIP Patreons have access to the Puts ROIC, where we do our tracking, our analysis, our research of potential puts to sell. So let me grab a drink and get this set up, and then we'll look at potential opportunities to sell puts. Okay, as we mentioned, we had already sold one on Disney at the 85 strike price. Also, you'll see in our previous videos, we now have calculations of potential fair value. In general, we're still looking at the April expiration, as that's within the 40-day window. I may bump that over as those prices decline with time. I'm looking at Apple for May as a potential candidate, just to see if we can get a decent price on that. Also, we've already sold one on Tesla at 120. So if Tesla keeps going up, then we'll look at opportunity to buy that back and collect the difference in premium, again, as another self-generated dividend. So with the decline in the VIX and deterioration and the markets running up generally on Friday, there aren't a whole lot of attractive puts right now that I see. But again, this updates during the day based on the Google Finance functions. And also I pull this data into our database from another data feed. And then these low highs, 52 weeks, deltas, etc. get updated at the end of the day. So I can see what that range is as well. So again, this is automatically updated and then updated at the end of the day, so we can see additional potential opportunities for selling puts. Then on the research tab, everything I've looked at in the past, or I'm currently looking at, There's some of these that are financial related. FIS is financial related. I don't like that. PayPal, payment system, don't like that. So again, not a whole lot of other opportunities, but as we see those, I will consider them, might move them up to the main watch list. And also that's something that I might post to our watch list channel in our Discord if we come up with new potential opportunities to sell cash secured puts. Then again, that's something that I would update. So you can see we took Dish off because it wasn't attractive. I had added Google and Match at one point. So if I make changes to our watch list in our puts ROIC spreadsheet, I will post those in our stock watch list channel in Discord. And again, actually all of our Patreon members have access to that channel. So if anyone has anything they want to look at, again, you can ask for additions, and then we'll run the research, the automated research, add them to the spreadsheet, and then you can see those. Please post if I miss your question in the chat. I apologize, but please repost it in the chat. I'll try to answer a couple questions before we wrap up. I think I covered these, covered UEC. You can always ask questions, as you could see, Tony Price posted his question under, as a comment under one of our videos. So you can always post your comments under the appropriate video. You can always ask in our Discord. Please tag us so that I get notified, that you've asked a question so I can respond appropriately. Again, in our Facebook group, you can DM us via social media. Again, all the links are on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U, under the links section. Also links to all the tools, trading platforms we use, etc. You can find in the links section on our homepage. So, okay, if there aren't any other questions right now, we'll wrap up. And again, you can ask subsequently, and we'll do what we can to respond. We hope that this all helps. We hope you like it. Please help us grow the BeachBum trading community. Please share this with your fellow traders, your friends, etc., and other communities that traders hang out in. We need your help to build the BeachBum trading community for the mutual benefit of all of our fellow BeachBum traders. The larger the community, as you can see in the chat, got a great community, traders helping each other learn how to trade, helping each other trade. We want to grow that community. We want to get to people that, got blown out of trading, maybe used a technique that wasn't appropriate or the best for them. We want to bring them back and teach them how they can succeed in trading, make money trading. So help us build the community for everyone's mutual benefit. So good luck, everyone. Have a great trading week, March 27th through the 31st, and we hope to see you all back here next weekend. Thank you. Have a great week.